How you doing, everybody? You know what it is. Israel Torres with the Hoodstory Channel right now, and we are with the CEO of Trulieve, Kim Rivers. And I know everybody that be around me knows I don't leave home without one of these. And coming from a very loyal customer, well, patient, because I do have my medical card. And ever since we've had the opportunity to be able to go to these dispensaries and medicate ourselves. Well, obviously through our physicians also, who are also a big part of this. It's been a big change for me. Especially a thing I love about you is the fact that you're very proactive towards the fact that you're trying to decrease these incarcerations. And I myself and a lot of people around me in my environment were victims of that because, and the reason I say victim was because we did nothing wrong. Like I know people who just with a joint worth, or a friend that I had just had stems and seeds. This is back in the days, and they put them in the system, just like me. So I do appreciate the fact that this is going to change a lot for people who need this. Not just recreationally. We've been here medically fighting also. So I want to skip straight to it and say it's an honor and a pleasure to have you. I would love to hear your opinion on yes on three because I'm definitely voting yes on three. There's no if and buts about that.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for your loyalty as a patient. It is just such a blessing. I wake up every day so thankful that I get to do what I do every day. We've got an incredible team at Trulieve. We've got thousands of employees across the state that care so much about what they do every single day. And so, I really appreciate your passion and in your kind of understanding of our passion. So that's awesome. And yeah, really, this is at its core is really about stopping the madness in the state of Florida. We have got to stop arresting people and ruining their lives, giving people a record over small amounts of a plant. It's just ridiculous, and it's inconsistent, right? We have this checkerboard of laws across the state, and you just don't know. You don't know if if you drive across a county line or you drive across a city line, right? The reality and your reality of getting caught could change dramatically. And then we also know, right, that marijuana has just been used for so long as a profiling mechanism. And again, we've just got to draw a line and we've got to stop it. And so Amendment 3 at its core legalizes for adults 21 and up the ability to have and to possess, right, up to 3 ounces of flour and 5 grams of concentrate without risk of arrest or prosecution. So that's, really, if there's no other reason for you to be yes on three, I would just, implore people, even if you don't use, right, folks around you, this really is an opportunity for, ourselves as citizens in the state of Florida to directly impact democracy and to directly impact the future of our state. And then I would just tell you that second, coming behind this, we're huge proponents of expungement. And the state of Florida makes it really hard for people that have a record to get it off of their record. And
Who are
so,
you telling?
yeah, so as you know, right? We run
Yes.
expungement clinics across the state. We've helped a lot of individuals. We've helped hundreds of individuals actually clear up their records, but it's a real big pain and it takes lawyers and it takes time and it's a very complex process. And so I'm really excited about the fact that if we can get Amendment 3 passed, or when we get Amendment 3 passed, and we can stop it moving forward, I believe that there's a real conversation, and I think we can get some movement to also help speed up and rectify folks who have a record currently, because that's I think only the logical next step. So that's kind of number one. And then the second part about Amendment 3 is really about creating an environment, and because you're in the medical program, but an environment where you can go into a store. It's not, it's obviously safe, right? And everything there is clean,
Very.
it's tested. You've got a lab result that's specific for the product you're buying. And
I know.
it's just, yeah, it's the ability to operate in a safe environment because, again, we're talking about a plant, we're talking about a product that's safer than alcohol. But
Mhm.
right, unfortunately, what goes on the streets, and certainly more so even today, is you're getting product that's adulterated, you're getting product that's got, pesticides and some other stuff in it. So we just want to give people an opportunity to have clean product that's safe and that's regulated. And we're going to generate a lot of money for the state of Florida, right? You got $400 million that we can put back into our local communities for things like education. And we've had a lot of people move here over the last 3 years. So
Doesn't
infrastructure.
stop.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I think really those are the top three reasons that I tell people that really, when they're considering voting, that they, we would ask and really hope that folks would vote yes on Amendment 3.
I going back to your key points. I'm a father. You feel me? I'm a father, and my main concern is to make sure I could go from assignment to assignment, interview to interview, and make it home to my daughter without having a problem of me medicating myself. Because I'm
Right,
not out there just using it just to get stupid and highlight half these movies make it seem. You feel me?
right,
Or like the old commercials used to make it seem like, oh, you're on dope or whatever. No, I need it medically. I just to share a little bit of my story. My firstborn daughter passed away, and after she had passed away, kind of spiraled. And you know what? You know how the medical field is. The first thing they want to do is put you on all these heavy medications and
yep,
and
yep,
really dope you out. The legal medications,
right,
the ones that
right,
the ones that they control, the big pharma stuff. You feel
yeah,
me?
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
um, and I was getting no progress with the way I was feeling. I was really sheltering myself, and and my light was dim. I wasn't out there being proactive or productive. I was just trying to get past this pain with these pills that were not helping me. So I opted out of it. And the minute I found out that I was able to go to a physician that I could talk to him about something that I come from the islands, so something that's normal to me. So,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
when I left the islands, I lived in Cali for a little bit. So you know how
Uh-huh.
California is. So it's like, to me, Florida was just ridiculous. I was one of them people that I struggled to find a regular job. You know what I'm saying? And it's a blessing that I ended up at the one I'm in now. But I struggled to find a job because of little things like this. Like, and where they wouldn't even want to hire you because you had these marijuana charges, possession under this, possession over this. They don't even know what's going on. And the crazy
Right,
part is when you said 3 ounces, and I don't know anybody that got pulled with that much. You know what I'm saying? It was literally small amounts, and they got put into the system immediately.
yep,
Whether it was
yep,
probation, some are even in prison. I mean, just keeping it real. That
yep,
because once you accept probation, and once you start being faulty and not submitting to certain
right.
rules, they sit there and they hit you with the book. So me myself personally, I do appreciate that, and I understand that that's actually the major part. I hope that people that know me and in my environment, in my hood, like I say, I hope the people in my hood are listening and pay attention and go out there and do something about it. Stop complaining.
Right.
Stop saying, "Hey, look, I got to pay for a lawyer. I got to pay for bond. I can't get a job. I can't do." Let's vote yes on this because I'm all for it. Period.
And
But
that's such an important message, right? Because I think that there's so many people who are like, oh yeah, I'm for it, but then yeah, you got to go do something, right? We need you to
yeah,
vote, and that's really and listen. Here's the honest to God, the truth. Like, I think you should vote all the way through the ballot because I think that's one of our great
yeah,
privileges as citizens of the United States of America is that we get to participate in democracy. But here's the thing: even if you only vote on the amendment, again, this is your opportunity to
to do it
directly impact what happens here. Like, right, you vote for a candidate, you kind of hope that they do what you want them to do. You vote for this, it will happen. And so, but we've got to have people that care about this issue. We've got to get them to the polls
for
because
sure.
a lot of people, yeah, a
That's
lot of
what I'm
people
doing.
feel like they're just they're fed up with politics. They're fed up with the system, as you say, right? But this is an opportunity where you got to operate within the system in order to change it. And so that's really my plea is to please, please, please. It takes 5 minutes. Early voting is happening right now. You can go this weekend, get it out of the way, right? And just get your vote in to make sure that your voice is heard. And then the other thing I would say is that to your point, right? I mean, what we're talking about here is we're talking about just getting Florida in line and with the times because a lot of people on adult use, even with recreational programs, we know that a lot of those people are just people that for whatever reason they're not comfortable getting a card, they feel like they don't qualify for a card, right? But our veterans, for example, who are out there who are being sent home on all kinds of different medications that have increased rates of suicide as side effects, right?
Mhm.
And those folks, they may not want it. They may feel funny about putting their name on a list or on a registry. those folks are using this product not just for, to your point, to get, to get high or on a Friday or Saturday. They're
Because we need
using it
it.
to help them sleep. They're using it to help them deal with post-traumatic stress disorder. They're using it to help them,
Diet, all type of stuff.
not be on opioids, to your point, which can kill, which, I mean, it has
It's the
proven,
biggest killer in
that's
Florida.
right. That's
It's the
right.
biggest problem. That's the crazy
That's
thing
right.
about it. It's the biggest problem. But we're quick to legalize alcohol years ago, and I mean, I come from an environment where alcohol split up more homes than
Yeah.
anything I know. You feel me? Including
Yeah.
in parts of my family. I
Yeah.
myself had problems with alcohol after losing my mother, my father, my daughter. Like
Sure.
you fall into a rabbit hole,
Yeah.
trying to ease the pain and the reality. But I wanted to go back to what you said about the people not wanting to vote, and because politics is such a hard thing to like trust, especially in my
Yeah.
environment. It's impossible to trust
Sure.
it because we feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
getting played, so we don't want to do nothing. But the thing I want everybody to listen to is, you don't want to be in the system, right, politically, but you're in the system judiciously. You feel me? You are in the system judiciously. Like, we're getting locked up. We're getting our DC numbers. You're going to state prison for a plant that grows. That I'm a believer in. That it was meant for us. Just like we pick fruits off of a tree. That's the fruit that was meant for me. It helps me medically. Mentally, I'm able to perform a lot better.
Yep.
Um, I enjoy my time better with my daughter than I do drinking. Because
Yep.
I lost a lot of memories. Just because I was sitting there with these opioids and with this alcohol and everything that the government approved of, and look where I'm at. I'm finally in a situation where I can say, no, 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 no more of that. And another thing, another key point I want to hit before I get lost in it, was the fact that, yes, I do like the fact that voting yes on this stuff, just like with the medical stuff, it makes things more professional and safer for us. Because
Yep.
I am a fan. I am a fan of the dispensaries, the Trulieve dispensaries. I put everybody on it. They argue with me. They say, "Oh, I'm not going to put all the dispensary names on it because they don't get my vote." But I put everybody on it, and it's a very clean. I've been, matter of fact, I've been in doctors' offices and dentist offices that aren't as clean and as safe as this little environment where I come in and I get what I need, and with no problems, no issues, and I leave. You feel me? And I keep
Right.
on being a citizen, a regular citizen that should be respected for my opinions, for my situations and my tribulations that I went through in order to
Right.
actually have this opportunity to vote on it. So I'm definitely going to vote for that. Another question I want to have a quick question. Quick question is, how would this affect the medical users? Because I know recreational people are going to be able to avoid all this extra stuff. Like, I've been with the program for a long time, and since I've been with the program, it consistently changes. Like, there's something
Mhm.
that's always changing, where there's the amounts you could get or something like so. And I need it medically. So I want to know, like, once it's recreational and supply and demand and everything, how is all this going to affect the medical user?
Yeah, so and so we have been in markets, in a number of markets who have adopted adult use, and gone from medical to now medical with adult use. So we've seen this firsthand. This is not our first rodeo as a company. And so what I can tell you, what to expect as a medical patient. First, you will continue to not have to pay taxes. So that's going to be great. So that will be a big difference between the medical patients and the adult use customers. So that's number one. Secondly, I believe that there's probably going to be differences in products between medical and adult use. We see that in other markets. So as you know, there's certain products that we sell that are very strong, and really geared for people that need that strength on the medical side. And so
Tinctures, everything. I love it.
I think there's going to be some differences, in terms of that. And then finally, what I would say is that we are and will always be committed to our medical patients. And so that we've done in other markets are, there'll be dedicated lines for medical patients. There'll be dedicated registers. Again, dedicated inventory. So again, I don't want our medical patients to be concerned, because I believe that we owe you. You guys are depending on us, and you've replaced medications in some cases for our products. So it's our responsibility to make sure that you can continue to get those products. And so our commitment remains steadfast to the medical patients. And look, we have our company, and I know other companies as well. We have capacity that currently is idled that we'll be able to bring online. And so, to make sure that we're scaling alongside of demand. Yeah. So, I mean, again, I think now, listen, do I think that day one, like, are there going to be crazy lines and it's going to be a big party? Yeah. I think,
Sure.
I think it's going to be, I think it's
I'm,
going to be
I'm
a
positive
big
of that.
thing, right? I mean, but also, right, we've already talked about, when that happens, to make sure that our medical patients are coming in the couple weeks before, right? We're going ahead and encouraging them to make sure that we've got, they've got their what they need ahead of time, so that they aren't in a situation where they feel that they're not being prioritized on that first day. And then typically what we've seen in other markets is that kind of subsides after, call it, the first week or two. And so yeah, but it's important. We've got to make sure that we take care of both, right? We've got to make sure we take care of our medical patients, but then we also have the ability to, for people on the adult use side, to transition off the street and come in and have that experience, right, in that more safe and regulated environment.
Um, how will that affect the prices? Because listen, this is one thing that I love about y'all. Trulieve, let me tell you, the 7 grams of shake for the $25 that I sit there and I put on my, the other products, and like y'all have the best deals. Like even with roll one, everything, all the deals are amazing. Like y'all always, there's really no competition, and your terps are high, the percentages are high. Like y'all are not slacking in that department, but
Thanks.
are the prices still going to be the same? Am I gonna look at this and be like, man, I gotta work an extra hour to get this?
No, yeah. No, I think that's a great question. So thank you, and I'll just give a quick shout out to our grow team.
Yes.
We've got a motto at Trulieve. It's only grow fire, and they have just been killing it. So
Fire,
thanks
more
for
fire.
noticing. Thanks for noticing. Because they take a lot of pride in what they do. They've been putting out some great stuff lately. On prices, no, we are committed. So one of the things that we've done consistently in the state of Florida, which you may have noticed, is we're constantly looking to incrementally improve. And what does that mean? It means our value proposition. So when you go into a store, the product that's available and the pricing of that product, we want you to feel like, man, this is great. I feel
Yes.
really good about this purchase. I'm walking home with a smile on my face, and you know what? I'm gonna have a great experience, and I'm gonna come back. And so that will continue, and especially with our medical patients. In every market, though, that we have transitioned to adult use, prices actually decline over time. So yeah, so I would expect, actually, and so for us, we're going to keep pricing steady,
Yeah,
because
love it.
we don't think that it's important. We think it's important, and again, because it doesn't make sense, right? If we jack prices up and then it's not competitive with the black market, then why the heck are people going to come into the store? So we've got to make sure that we're still competitive, and that not only we're competitive, but we're offering a superior product that you can consistently get, right? Because look, I mean, you see your dealer, I'm just going to say it like it is, right? One day it might be really great. The next day it might be bad, right? I mean, and by the way, you
I
don't
be
know.
telling them. I be telling
Yeah,
them.
you're not getting a lab test, right? I don't care. I mean, your dealer's not going to send you a lab test for that batch, right? That was just tested a week ago, to tell you what's actually in it. And so that's the difference. You come into one of our stores, you can look at it, as you know, you can look at it, you can look at exactly the terpenes, exactly the percentages, right? What the genetics, what the lineage is, all of that. And then you can make a choice. And here's the great thing. If you don't like it, we'll take it back. Like,
Oh,
I don't know a dealer out there
I
who's
never
going
had
to
that problem. That's why I'm in
take
shock. I never had that problem. Trust me.
Yeah.
My
So
problem is I
anyway,
can't get enough of
yeah,
it.
yeah. Same great service, same great selection, great pricing, both on the adult use and the medical side. But the medical side will have the bonus of some additional variety and no taxes.
Well, that's great news. At least for my part, because
Yeah.
I'm all the way in. I ain't going nowhere. I'm definitely consistently going to y'all. That's just a part of my routine. I mean, even even
Yeah,
even
but
my family knows it. They more than likely to sit there and look at me like, hey, can you share? Nope, I need it medically. Wait till recreational comes and then we're here. But
yeah. But I
I,
think also it's really important for people to know that there's 25 companies, right? So there's 25 companies like Trulieve that exist in the state today. There's another 22 companies that are going to be licensed and are sitting waiting for the governor to sign them. So you got 47 companies that are going to be active when this goes into effect.
I
And then
wanted
there's a
to
whole bunch,
mention
yeah, there's a whole
people
bunch of
make a
new
big
licenses too.
people make a big deal about California, right? And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to throw no names out there, but there's been California companies that have come out to Florida and try to capitalize. and I could tell you myself that I'm still with y'all. So I might have strayed and tried, but I mean people see there's huge possibilities here. Finally, Florida is like hopefully oh, another thing I got, because still I always wanted to ask this question because
Sure.
um to me, you like y'all lead like the way to this, like because y'all were the first people I was dealing with and consistently still do. How does it feel to like be pushing such a positive message, right? And actually be here helping so many people, that need the help, and yet still have this stigma over you, like you're some type of king queen. I was gonna say kingpin. You know what I'm saying? Like oh
Yeah.
look, like the biggest trafficker, and how it is. Like other people on the people that don't want to vote for it would label you some type of you know criminal organization, how the feds are, how the federal,
Yeah, yeah,
like I
yeah,
never
yeah,
understood that. I was like, how do you like avoid these problems with these people? Because consistently it
yeah.
happens in California. They consistently come in California, and it's been how long has this happened in California that people have recreationally been able to use it, and the feds still intervene. I know people who own shops, and feds went in there and just be taking
Yeah.
stuff and all that. How do you beat that stigma? Like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, I think that, so just on the like kind of the general stigma side of it, what I would say is that, when you, I just have this personal mantra, like, right, like when you lead and you lead from the front, it means you gotta accept the fact that you're gonna have a target on your back,
yeah,
right? And so, and that's just part of it. And you know what? But I'd rather continue to lead from the front. And so, that's just part of the sort of the challenge that you have as a leader. And look, I mean, I think for me, because I know at my core that we are changing lives, and I know at my core that
for
we
sure.
are on the right side of
Sure.
history. And when I go in and I spend time in our stores and I spend time talking to patients and hearing stories like yours, which are very, that's the norm. So I'm good with it because I can look myself in the mirror every
Yeah.
day. I've got two kids too, right? I'm raising a family as well, and so I know that my kids, when they look back at, what I've done, right, with my life, I think that I feel like, I'm doing
You're an
things
activist.
to make them
You're,
proud. Yeah. So
you're an
whatever.
activist.
I mean, haters gonna hate, right? I mean, whatever. It's fine. And then on the Fed stuff, I think that we have always just really been careful to dot our I's and cross our T's and make
Mhm.
sure that we're going about things, the above and beyond, right, in terms of what's required from a compliance standpoint. And for thankfully, right, that strategy has worked out, and we've been able to, avoid, a lot of, and I mean, candidly, a lot of it is because of the, and I always say this, right, in terms of legalization, in terms of really marijuana reform and really drug reform in general, it's incremental. And so each one of us is sits on the shoulders of those that come before us. And
Yes.
that's not lost on me, right? And so a lot of work has been done in a lot of these other states where folks have gone through trials and tribulations, paving the way, right, for the next step of incremental change. And that's where we are. And I mean, that's also part of the responsibility that I feel, because I know that especially in Florida, we're sitting on the shoulders of so many people that have been
Mhm.
activists for decades here in the state of Florida, right? I mean, Karen Goldstein, who's the president of our normal chapter here in Florida, she's amazing. I mean, she's, in her late 70s and early 80s at this point, and she spent her entire life, right, fighting for us to have the moment that we're at right now. And
Mhm.
so,
Yes.
that also is super inspiring for me, is to make sure that when the chapter, okay, this is the ball's been passed to, in some extent, right? About ball's been passed to me. I need to
Yes.
make sure I'm running as far as I can down the field with it, so that I can make those folks proud who ran the other part of the way before the ball was handed to me.
And you're taking it all the way to the touchdown. You hear me? You've been doing that.
That's right. All
Um,
the way through. Yes, on three.
all the
That's
way through.
right.
I wanted to tap back in another key point that you mentioned, just because this is the Hoodstory Channel, and everybody that knows me, from hood to hood, from Compton to Orlando to Tampa, all the way up to New York and Chicago. Um, when it comes down to it, everybody that knows what you said earlier is so true, and I've proved it consistently. When you were like, "Hey, um, your dealer, we're going to say this because we could keep it real now. Your dealer is not going to give you what Trulieve gives you. And I consistently argue with them because I was like, hey, I know what I'm getting every time. Matter of fact, I go through this perfect website that y'all have. The layout is easy. I order my stuff beforehand. I go in and I grab it easily. No, hey, I'm around the corner. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Oh, no,
Right.
no, this is better than the last one. This is better than the last one. Then you're calling him back, upset. Most of the time, you know how street business is. There's no
Yep.
refund. But for me, and certain people, you're going to give me that refund. But what I was saying is that's very true. I proved that time and time again. I said it consistently. And I have one person, one of my friends that he's from the islands too, and he lived out here. He's really big in a company as a head chef, and he's a professional person that came from my background also, but he has changed for his children. So it's just so many risks in what he was doing just to be able to smoke, right? And then I was
Right.
trying to explain that to him. I said, imagine every day you're on the way to work and you got to worry about getting caught with this, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you're
Right.
not in
Right.
the
Right.
lifestyle no more. You know what I'm saying? And then your dealer's not even worth it because I bet you the next batch might be BAP. You know what I'm saying? In street lingo, it's BAP. And
Yeah.
then sure enough, I'll never forget. We were at work one day and he showed me his medical card. And I was like, oh, he's like, yeah, man, I had to do it, man. You talk too much about it. And he had went to Trulieve or whatever. And fast forward a couple weeks later, he was like, hey, man, I think I lost a friend, man. I was like, why? My dealer, he's upset. I was like, why?
Oh
Because
no.
I'm trying to explain to him. I'm trying to explain to him that I just like, my situation and,
Right.
it benefits me to live
Yeah.
this way. That's why we need to vote and change these things because the people from the hood, from these streets have this stigma also, where we get persecuted
Yep.
because it's obvious that some of us do certain things, you know what I'm saying? And some of us do it openly. So you
Right.
might as well sit there and vote and make it comfortable for you to be yourself and not have this problem with a police officer that wants to sit there. Another question I had though, well, I have you with me, because I know how Florida is, man. Florida is like a lot of tricks in their bags, right? So they'll legalize stuff and then they'll hit you with something else. So my
Yeah.
concern is how they're gonna act with DUI with our encounters now.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only concern because I haven't had that problem. I'm saying I haven't had that problem medically because I've been pulled over plenty of times. Because of the car I drive, and I'll keep it real, and the way I look, and they, oh, do you have that in the car? Yes, I do, and I show them and all that, and I don't have any type of issues with that, and me myself, I don't use it to where I would be intoxicated, but
Right.
uh, not more than me, but you would know that a lot of people just get trapped in this DUI game. You feel me? Where
Yep.
they
Yeah. So
you know
what would happen on the DUI front after Amendment 3 passes is it would go to a standard just impairment test.
okay,
So it's going to be, yeah, so it would be the same kind of testing like we have currently for opioids as an
okay,
example.
all right,
So it would just be a sort of a field sobriety type environment. So that's what it would be. They could not, right? There would not be a just possession, right? In other words, if you had something on you, that would no longer be a
okay,
criminal offense.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, possession charge, right? So it would just be right if you're listen, if you're swerving all over the road, or if
yeah,
you're only driving 5 miles an
yep,
hour and a 45, right, or whatever, then yeah, then that would be so that would be the reason for the pull. Then they could do a sobriety, right, and just an impairment test. So so it's different than today because today, right, they see it in the car and boom, right,
oh,
then it's game over. Yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah.
you've put me. I was already at ease before I had this conversation with you because I've been following you and your other interviews with the news sources, and I've been actually proud of you. I've been really
Oh,
proud.
thank you.
Like,
Thanks.
man, she's gonna make a difference for us because people actually know this company. It's not a little mom and pop's corner store. It's something big
Mhm.
out here. It's like our Burger King. So it's like you know, just trying to be funny, but in
Yeah,
reality,
yeah.
y'all
No,
have
I love
helped
it.
me and a lot of people around me. People who are. That's what I'm trying to say. With the legalization of stuff, people don't understand. It's deeper than just getting arrested. You also are resolving a lot of problems in the street. Like
That's right.
you're keeping your children out the street.
That's
Like
right.
which is the biggest concern to me as a parent. I have a 17-year-old boy. A 17-year-old boy, and I'd be scared that he might go smoking with somebody and something might happen. You feel me? Because anybody who can't get it legally, somehow they be scheming and they get bad situations and all that. So it's like, to me, my biggest thing is we're gonna cut a lot of these street problems out, you know. And a lot of people have said it before, and people don't listen from my end because it don't be people that are actually us. You feel me? I know for a fact, I feel it deep inside because I've seen it happen in California. You know what I'm saying? Like, people ain't killing each other over a joint. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's like
Right.
it's a
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, we know, right, statistically, domestic violence
yeah,
declines, right? When
yep,
you're looking at it as it relates to alcohol and
yeah,
any other Schedule 1 or 2 substance, right? Marijuana is significantly safer, right? There has been zero documented overdose deaths from marijuana. Obviously, there's a lot from a lot of other substances. And so when you look at it from, really an apples to apples comparison, marijuana is absolutely a less harmful alternative. The other thing is what we're talking about here is we're talking about adults over the age of 21 being able to do what they want to do, what they need to do in some cases in the privacy of their own homes for their
yes,
particular own situation. So we need, I mean, I think that Floridians are tired of government telling us what we can and can't do, how to do it. And really this is about, again, personal freedom, our ability to take our own health, our own well-being into our own hands and make responsible choices as individuals. And I mean, I think that, when I talk to people, just again, the opportunity to understand that what we're talking about here is we've got to stop ruining people's lives. We got to create a safe environment. We're going to tax it so we can get, again, more dollars directly back into our communities. And again, this is marijuana. Like
yeah,
it's been here. It's not going anywhere. It's been here, right? Like, so we just need to, I mean, it's time, but again, and it seems so simple, but I don't want people to think that this is just going to automatically pass. We have to have 60% of the
we're gonna
vote.
make it happen.
That's a huge threshold. Okay. And so we are really close. And so it would be a shame, right, if this thing does not pass because of 10,000 votes and, folks that are watching this right now think that someone else is going to go vote so they don't need to. No, we need you to go and for you to cast your ballot and for you to vote yes on Amendment 3.
Yes, yes, yes. On that note, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm about to roll one and enjoy it. And I'm gonna encourage everybody out there to vote yes for three, you know, because we're yes on three in this team. I appreciate you coming. It was an
Thanks.
honor and a
Yeah.
pleasure. And y'all already know, all the people tuned in, Israel Torres with the Hoodstory Channel, from hood to hood. Let's stay active, proactive for the good. Signing out.